Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
The last 12 to 13 months have been tumultuous for the wheat market, particularly in India. This was due to three reasons. One, there was huge export demand for the Indian wheat in view of the Ukraine war. Two, a heat wave swept across the country in March-April. It affected the yield and in turn, the production was affected badly. Three, the procurement of wheat by the Food Corporation of India was as low as 47% of the 43.44 million tons it procured in 2021. Among the industries that were badly affected by this tumultuous wheat market in India was the Roller Flour Mills Federation of India. It has gone through a roller coaster ride during the current fiscal, but it's expecting a better 2023-24. We have with us Mr. Pramod Kumar Jain, President, Roller Flour Mills Federation of India, to share his views on what happened this fiscal and what is likely to happen going forward. Welcome, Mr. Pramod Kumar. Sir, how has the current fiscal been for the flour mills industry? What sort of problem did mills face with regard to raw material availability?
I think this year was a roller coaster year. Never in our history of flour milling we have faced this year. So in the beginning, what happened, because of the Russia and Ukraine war, the wheat prices jumped across the world, and there was a surge in the export of wheat from India right from December onwards. Subsequently, what happened, the agriculture department estimated a very high crop in India. So in the month of February and March, because of the heat wave, the crop came down, but the agricultural department never agreed to that, and the exports surged in the month of February, March, April. Most of the wheat was cornered by the exporters and the stockists who knew that the prices will further go up because India was selling wheat at the harvest at a huge discount. So neither the millers could get hold of the wheat nor the government could get. So subsequently, the prices in the month of April and May touched a record high, and we had given a representation to the government to ban the export or control or regulate the export of wheat either through a tariff or through a quantity. So by the time they did it, the fire had already caught, and neither the millers could get the wheat. Most of the wheats were at the ports, or it was held by the millers in their own account. So we had a representation to the government on the 8th or 9th of May or 11th of May, and suddenly the government understood the problem because their procurement was all-time low. The prices were surging. Government banned the export of wheat on 13th of May, and only with people who had LCs were allowed to export, which happened for the rest of the year. I think we exported close to 7.5, 8 million tons, and our crop was 15 million tons lower than the previous year, or lower than the estimate, approximately. Government figures are a little different than our figures. And then after another 15-20 days, the government banned the export of wheat flour also. Then after banning the export of wheat, the prices crashed in India because the wheat was lying across the traders, the farmers, the stockists at the ports. So at that moment of time, the large trading houses consolidated the position. They knew the government had no stocks. Traders were having a difficult time, and small traders could not hold on to the wheat. It was all cornered by the larger trading houses. So subsequently, then after August, September, when the demand started rising and the traders could not, the millers could not stock wheat, then the prices of wheat went on going up continuously from 22 rupees when they banned export, and till December, January, the wheat had touched Delhi 32 rupees. And I think the government could not do anything because they did not know what is happening, and they did not have sufficient stocks. And adding to this problem, because the procurement was low, the government reduced the allocation of wheat in PDS and in PMGKY. Almost totally, they reduced it by half. So that fueled, particularly in states like Odisha, Bihar, Bengal, Uttar Pradesh. So there was no wheat available even in the PDS system. So that demand became more. Everybody knows that the wheat is also diverted into the open market. It somehow finds its way into the market, and the people who were habituated to consuming wheat or atta, they had to buy in the market. So there was an unprecedented demand of wheat in the country. So that is how it happened. And the government went on promising that they would intervene in the market, reduce the import duty, declare stock, they will bring in stock declaration or stock limit, but the government also did not do anything actually. And post December, everybody were expecting, because if the PMGKY wheat scheme was continuing, the government had no wheat to give. And the international prices were higher than the wheat prices in India. So there was no point in allowing or reducing the import duty. The government realized it. I think the government calibrated it very well. And after December, they announced the policy, but for whatever political reasons, because of elections and other things, the government could not take a decision in the month of December, and January it caught fire again. And by the time February they announced the open sale policy, so we had seen 35, 22, 35, 25. So this is the year which has gone through actually.
That's a good summing up of the situation, what you have faced this current fiscal. Now, how is the current crop that is being harvested? What is your view of the crop, given the fact that the Agriculture Ministry is now saying that it's forecasting a record 112 million tons?
We also done a crop survey. And also, actually, I'll tell you, post after that, once the government tenders came in, nobody believed that the government will come with the OMSs. So the government announced an open sale of 3 million tons. People could not believe it. And subsequently, when they announced the tender at full 3 million ton at one go, people were skeptical. And after another 15-20 days, they announced another 2 million ton. Actually, there were a lot of stockists who were playing in the market, especially large companies, stockists, and they were having a free run in the market. And I think it is like a surgical strike what the government did it, and they did it beautifully well. And prices came down from 35 to 25. If you see from the first tender, the prices went down, coming down, especially at least in most of the states in India, the prices stabilized at 2,300, 2,350. And some states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, where the government could not move wheat or the demand was more, the tenders went at a higher prices. So our view on the crop is that I think the area has gone up by at least 2 to 3%. Area has gone up, and weather, so I think rains have been extremely good. Though there was initially little fear of heat wave, I think it subsided, and I think we should have a record crop of around 108 to 110 million tons.
So what gives you the confidence that the crop is going to be right? But half of it is right, because what we hear from the ground is that there has been an early harvest and there has been no damage due to weather concerns.
There is no damage, sir. Actually, we have also received the new variety of wheat from Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra. The wheat is extremely good. The size of the grain, the moisture, everything is perfect.
So how do you see the procurement of wheat by FCI and other government agencies this year? And how much wheat do you think the government will need for its welfare programs in the coming fiscal?
I think based on what the allocation, what they have right now, it's around 1.6 million tons. They will require around 21 million tons. If they reinstate the rice portion back into the wheat, probably they will require 24 to 27 million tons of wheat. And I think the government will open with as low as 8 or 9 million tons this year. Probably that will be the lowest opening stocks what we'll have.
Okay.
And I think based on the arrival and the mandi prices, I think the government should be able to procure around 32 million tons easily.
Okay. So you see that happening without any problem this year?
I don't think so, because the crop is much more than last year, around 15 to 17 million tons. The crop is more than last year. There are no exports, and because of the open sale continuing and the prices are subdued everywhere. Like today also in MP, the mandi price are around 2,000 rupees or 2,050 rupees. It is much lower than the MSP. So in Punjab and Haryana, they have no option. I don't think so. I think they will sell to the government.
Okay. And how do you see the global wheat market panning out this year?
I think initially there was a panic because Ukraine and Russia is one of the largest producers of wheat or largest exporters of wheat in the whole world. Especially it is strategically located, which caters to Africa and it caters to Asia, which is the bulk of the world population. So I think there is a realignment which had to happen. So all the supply lines were disrupted. I think CBOT, everything is all come back to normal. Australian crop was quite good. I mean, we don't track much of the international market, but according to people, both Russia and Ukraine will have a good crop actually. That's how you can see the massive prices or CBOT prices already under control.
Thank you very much, sir. Very insightful views that you have provided. We hope you'll come up with a good crop.
Thank you, sir.